Welcome to the second edition of the 2017 Power Rankings.
We are back. Everyone's in that final playoff push. Teams are trying to make some final moves to avoid standing on the street corner.
Let's go and start these Power Rankings up. Coming in at number 10. Sorry to do it to you, buddy. It's going to be Robbie Bush.
Ooh, and he was, I believe he was up at number 4 last Power Rankings. Yeah. Took a big hit. Well, hey, a 4-game losing streak will do that to you.
If you look at his past acquisitions, there's really no one on his team that he picked up that is a viable starter. Cooper Kupp, he's been okay. I wouldn't consider that a flex play in any sense here. Andre Ellington, he's more of a PPR running back. I don't even think he's rosterable. This team just lacks talent. Mike, what do you think?
I think they're hurting at wide receiver.
Well, they have Doug Baldwin, Mike.
Okay, Doug Baldwin. He's their number 1 guy. Keenan Allen, his production, he hasn't gotten more than 6 points since week 4.
That's real bad. I was just trying to think of the positives here. Like, how can this team still make the playoffs?
Well, they got Texans D. Oh, wait, never mind. That's another negative.
Wow. You start this defense every week, bro? I can understand if you play them matchup-wise. That's fine. They're not that bad of a defense. You're playing them every week.
You play matchups on defense, unless you got like one of the top 3 defenses.
And you don't. I'm telling you right now, Mike, if this team does not make some kind of move or trade, I think Robbie's on the street corner come December, and I think he's going to have to make the trip probably to West Palm and be on the street corner.
That's a big statement. That would be a rough 7-hour drive for Robbie.
Good luck, man. Hopefully you are on the street corner. Coming in at number 9. I hate to do this to you, man. Your team's on a winning streak, but C Breezy falling surprisingly in the power rankings in this competitive format we're in now.
Well, first of all, I have to say this team has had a very unfortunate year. They have Odell Beckham, season-ending injury. Trades Deshaun Watson away, thinking, all right, I still got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers out, season-ending injury. Elliott's suspension now. Elliott's out for the remainder of the year.
Yeah.
The thing about Chris is, if the playoffs began today, he would actually be qualified for the playoffs.
He'd be in the playoffs.
After weeks of just getting trashed, everyone thought he was guaranteed to be sitting on the sidewalk. He's won 3 out of his past 4 games.
One player who saved your team so far the last 2 weeks has got to be Jared Goff. I'm looking at him. That was a great pickup, Chris. I'm not going to take full credit for the pickups. I suggested Chris to pick him up at 12.59.
So he'll take
on Sunday.
12.59.
You know what? The team isn't real bad, but it definitely has holes. And you claimed your running backs are good. They are not good. C.J. Anderson, bust. Period. Over. Doug Martin, bust. Sorry. Oh, does his numbers decline? It's like a freaking ladder just going down. And he thinks, oh, I'm cool. I'm going to pick up Darren McFadden. He's going to be the starting running back in Dallas. 1 carry, -2 yards. He does have a couple good players, though. Let's not forget his good players. Adam Thielen, your best player, has been very, very nice this season. Juju Smith-Schuster.
I really like the Juju pickup.
Good pickup.
I wish he got points for touchdown celebrations. Would have been an even better pickup.
Wide receivers, they were looking terrible last time we did these power rankings. And your running backs are looking good. Now it just flip-flopped. It's like Stranger Things.
We'll see if Chris ends up on the upside down at the end of the season. If you look at his schedule to close out the season, he's got a
not
tough,
an easy schedule.
He's
Pull
got
the schedule
a tough
Pull the schedule up.
schedule.
All right, coming in at number 8. So we're going to go right into this here. Number 8, Ty. Ty's team dropping 2 spots in the power rankings. Ty's team is in a weird scenario here. He's got his best player, Melvin Gordon, for the LA Chargers. Last week he was benched for this guy named Austin Eckler. If that's your best player and he gets benched, you might be on the downslope. So let's go and look at this team real quick. We got Devontae Parker here, who's your best receiver. High floor candidate. Ceiling really hasn't been there, but we'll see. Russell Wilson, best quarterback in the league.
I was surprised to see that Russell Wilson was the best quarterback in the league. He's been putting up the numbers.
A few weeks ago, Alex Smith was #1 quarterback in the league. And now look at Ty's team. He's Alex Smith and Russell Wilson. And the rest of his team is just average. He has a recipe for a trade here, I would say.
He's had some wide receiver issues. Jordy Nelson, ever since Rodgers went out, his production has drastically slumped.
Is it safe to say that Jordy Nelson's a bust?
It's not Jordy Nelson's fault, but yes, he would be a bust. Averaged 2 points per game the past 3 times he stepped on the field.
One position I will say is the tight end on this team is just a complete.
If you look at the tight end production for this team all season, combined from Martellus Bennett, Hunter Henry, and Austin Hooper, they've gotten 30 points
combined
in 10 weeks. I'll do the math for you. That's 3 points per week from the tight end position. The tight end position is practically non-existent for this team. If the season ended today, due to the tiebreaker rules, Ty would actually be the guy standing on the street corner.
That's going to be a tough 40-hour drive back from Montana if he stays in the street corner.
That's going to be a tough drive.
It's going to be a tough drive.
Might have to get a flight for it.
I would probably fly. Coming in at number 7, going right into it here. Number 7 is going to be
my very own Tebow's Disciples. And the big storyline here is the two-headed monster of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. You wouldn't think that two running backs on the same team would work in most fantasy formats. However, last week produced a total of 50 points. Ever since Peterson left New Orleans, Ingram has been averaging over 16 points per game. Kamara has gotten double digits the past 4 weeks. The big issue that this team has gotten criticism for recently is the quarterback position. However, the GM is confident in Ben Roethlisberger, although some say he's a little biased. This team has gotten a lot of production out of the tight end position. It's mostly from Zach Ertz, of course, has averaged over 9 points per week from the tight end position. This team definitely has potential. Anyway, moving on to number 6 now.
Coming in at number 6, moving up 4 spots in the power rankings last time, is Kenny Tran. Wait. Breaking news, actually. Just getting off the phone here. Travis Lewis. And he calls and tells me they have made a trade. Carson Wentz for DeMarco Murray. It's on a team that needs a quarterback. He traded away, in my opinion, the most inconsistent player in fantasy, DeMarco Murray.
Quite frankly, this team doesn't really need DeMarco Murray at running back. They have LaShawn McCoy, incredibly high ceiling. Jerick McKinnon, who obviously has been switching off with Latavius Murray on which Minnesota running back is going to get the majority of the production week by week. And Orland Darkwa, who's really become the man in New York.
The player we really haven't talked about yet is Devin Funchess. I think Devin Funchess is going to be an excellent wide receiver in the second half of the season. There was no Calvin Benjamin on that team. And then you also got Robert Woods.
Averaging 24 points a game over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up too. This guy's a beast. He's on the best offense in football. I think Kenny's team is up and coming. Definitely in the running for owner of the year if your team can make the playoffs. Coming up at number 5, moving up 4 spots in the power rankings, we have my dear friend Travis Lewis. Are you freaking serious? Yes, Travis, I am serious. Your team is better, surprisingly. You know, I just said that Kenny came out on top on that trade, getting Carson Wentz the MVP. I think your team improves as well.
Carson Wentz was on his bench anyway. He had Brady to start, and he was hurt at the running back position. He needed something. Adrian Peterson, he had that one big week where everyone's like, oh, Adrian Peterson, he's on the Cardinals now. He was a one-hit wonder. Jay Ajayi, who finally scored his first touchdown last week after he got traded to the Eagles.
It improves his depth overall. It really is the main point of this. Last week he did make a trade to pick up Chris Hogan in a deal with New Money Who This. Traded away Golden Tate and Harrison Butker.
Very interesting trade.
I think it was an even trade on both sides. Anything they're missing. Congratulations. Des Bryant is not a star wide receiver. The first round pick was a
bust.
Congratulations on number 5 though. Coming in at number 4 is a team that's moved down 2 spots in the power rankings. Rightfully so, because they haven't won very many games the past 2 weeks. Jared Meshes, yes sir. After losing 3 straight games, coming in really only 2 spots below your original ranking.
3 weeks ago, I'd say this team was primed for a championship run. They've lost 3 games in a row. A lot of that has to do with some off-the-field issues. Leonard Fournette, suspended.
Done.
AJ Green, ejected in the same week. Pretty much cancel one in that week.
Might want to get some nicer players. You should pick up Tim Tebow. Like Mike said, the key theme on this is really just maturity on this team. Just can't get it together. It appears to me that this team is due for a second half regression. I think Jordan Howard really is a boom or bust candidate. Brandon Cooks, he's almost as bad as DeMarco Murray when it comes to boom or bust. One thing that I think hurt him a lot was the Deshaun Watson injury. Before that, Will Fuller looked like he was going to be the best wide receiver in the league going forward.
That's true.
Deshaun Watson goes down, Will Fuller gets one fantasy point.
Just another example how these injuries can have the domino effect.
Wow. Coming in at number 3, it's going to be Casey McClure. Congratulations, buddy. Your good ownership has gotten you to the number 3 spot.
The biggest jump from last power rankings in the league. From number 8 to number 3.
It's hard to... With the injury to David Johnson, you really didn't know what this team was going to do. Most people thought it was going to be bad, like myself. Where's these points coming from?
Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey have been huge. Cam Newton specifically. Travis Kelce, the top-ranked tight end in the league. One thing we brought up last time we talked about this team is when they were 3-2, they were ranked so low because we didn't think they could keep this up. However, they've been 3-2 since the last time we talked. They've kept it up despite a tough schedule.
Consistent.
And this team has finally chosen a team name, the Comebacks.
The Comebacks.
It makes sense. Ever since David Johnson injury, they've been on the comeback.
It's been a very good GM picking players up. He picked up Deion Lewis and started him last week. Great pickup. Rashawn Matthews is available in free agency. Grabbed him like it was nothing. Buck Allen. Like, this team has been impressive.
And that's led to their 3-game winning streak past 3 weeks. One big matchup coming up that could decide the division is a matchup against Jared in Week 12.
All right, closing out these power rankings, we have the last 2 teams here. We had a big matchup last week in pretty much a battle of who's the #1 team in the league. Trevor Fleming. In the rematch, looking for vengeance, didn't get it. Yeah, #2 coming in.
It's hard to spot many holes in this team. They have 2 startable quarterbacks, Drew Brees and Dak Prescott.
2 quarterback ones.
They also have the #1 running back in the league and the #1 wide receiver in the league in Todd Gurley and DeAndre Hopkins.
That's crazy.
You talk about boomer bust, T.Y. Hilton is your guy.
Okay. I
He
think
either
I
gets
take back what I
4
said about
or
Murray.
less or 17 or more.
He's been a good owner of that. He's done a great job of playing the matchup card.
Well, here's the thing. T.Y. Hilton has been predictable on when he's going to boom or bust. He only blows up against good matchups.
Against
The
good
Cleveland
matchups.
Browns, the San Francisco 49ers,
Crazy.
the Houston Texans. Boom or bust isn't that bad if it's predictable.
To Evan Ingram at tight end is
Evan Ingram was a big
the
pickup.
best player on the Giants. Easy.
Maybe the top tight end since he started, really becoming relevant.
Yeah. Will Lutz is a solid kicker, a good kicker from the beginning of the season, undrafted there.
They do have an easy schedule to close it out.
He's got all 4 and 6 teams the rest of the way out with Mike, Ty, and Chris.
But because he got swept by this next team, leaves our #1 choice as the top team in the league, the Commissioners' new money who did.
We beat Trevor's
Okay, London.
team. Gotta put it at #1. Righteous reason, I would say. Mike, how do you feel about my team?
Matthew Stafford has really come on lately at quarterback. Kareem Hunt, definitely an elite running back. Not only that, this team has really stayed on top of their waiver moves. Latavius Murray was a big pickup last week and crucial in the win to gain the #1 position in the league. And I think if you talk to the GM about the most valuable player on his team, surprisingly enough, he'll tell you.
It's not a wide receiver. It's not Kareem Hunt. In my opinion, it's Greg Zerling. The Zer Master. Best kicker in the league. 17 points in the last 3 fantasy games. #1.
Going forward, Golden Tate could be a pretty big addition in this team.
I had to go out and make a move. Went out and traded for Golden Tate. I had to give it Chris Hogan. Mike Evans has been a bust this season. He's more of a wide receiver too, surprisingly. One quick thing I want to mention, now that we're done with the power rankings, thanks for watching. I wanted to get this matchup of the week segment going. We got a big matchup coming up this week, Mike.
Ty Gardner versus Casey McClure.
It's a big rivalry since 2005. They've been going head-to-head, multiple fistfights, blood wars,
Beer pong matchups.
You name it, they've been in it. And this is the big matchup of the week. Casey wins. He moves up and officially an elite team, clinches a playoff spot. And if Ty loses, he's going to move to the undisputed last
He
team
will
in the league.
remain at last spot,
Much
much
closer.
closer to standing on the street corner.
Now, good news for Ty, though. Carolina's on a bye week.
Carolina is on a bye week. But that's why you don't want to rely on one team too much. However, I will say Casey was able to win with both Hill and Kelsey on a bye last week, able to put up the most points he's put up all season without 2 of his best players. So
The key in this
You never
is
know with
Casey pulls shit out of his ass. And I'm calling it right now. My prediction this one, I'm going Casey. I think Casey's going to pull out of his ass again. He's got Duke Johnson he can start. Derek Carr starting against New England. I'm calling Casey goes 7-4. Mike, who do you think wins this matchup?
Casey's on a 3-game winning streak. I don't think he's got a 4-game winning streak in him. Fantasy's too random. I think Ty's do.
He does have a good matchup with Melvin Gordon going against Buffalo. Buffalo's been one of the worst teams in the league against the rush. And that is Ty's best player.
Devontae Parker's got a nice matchup against Tampa Bay.
Parker's got a good matchup, and I think Demaryius Thomas could actually put up some numbers against Cincinnati's poor quarterbacks. We'll have to see that. All right, well, thanks again for watching another edition of your Power Rankings presented by Rock, of course. Have a great evening, and we'll see you in Week 13.